Okay, this week and last we have been learning about the progressive movement in America in the 1900s. Today's lesson is about the progressives and the changes that they wanted to make in the cities, in education, and in transportation. First of all, we learned about Jane Addams. Jane Addams was a lady from Illinois, and she had this idea that someone needs to step up and help the immigrants and the poor people that were living in the city. Jane Addams created what's called the Hull House. Her idea was she wanted to help immigrants and poor people adjust to life in America and also in the cities. Now at the Hull House, they built it as kind of like a school. This provided an opportunity for immigrants and the poor to come and to receive the education that they had not been able to get otherwise. They would learn how to speak English. They were taught how to apply for jobs and how to interview for jobs. Children of the immigrants were also taught how to speak English. They also received a quality education at these houses. And also child care was provided as well. While the parents were out looking for jobs, the children could stay there and learn to speak English and learn various things that they would need to help them be successful in America. The Hull House is started by Jane Addams. Settlement houses. Jane Addams comes to Tennessee, and she travels to different cities throughout our state, and she begins sharing with the people of Tennessee about her work at the Hull House. She wanted to encourage the citizens of Tennessee to start their own Hull House. And so the reformers here, or the progressives here in Tennessee, took this idea and they created what's called a settlement house. We learn in the cities of Knoxville, Chattanooga, Nashville, and Memphis, we have settlement houses. And these settlement houses do exactly like the Hull houses did. They're designed to help the poor and to help the immigrants living here in Tennessee to learn English and learn various skills that they would need to be successful in our state. The progressives in transportation. In 1908, Henry Ford introduces the Model T. Now, the Model T, unlike cars before, and were very cheap. Ford creates what's called the assembly line, and we'll learn more about that in a next lesson or so. But Ford creates the Model T. Now, the Model T is a cheaply made car, or a car that's made cheaply so that people can buy those at a relatively low price. We start to see the number of cars in America increase. The problem we have is that car owners want better roads. Most of our roads at this time, especially in Tennessee, are designed for horse and buggy, and oftentimes they get very muddy and just in bad condition. But horse and buggy can travel on it, but cars can't. The car owners began to demand that roads be paved, or that we have better roads in Tennessee. Those that don't have cars, they bring up the question about, okay, well, who should pay for these roads? Should we pay for them since we don't use them with a car, or should car owners be forced to pay for these new roads? And so this battle is going to stretch on until about 1920 in our state, when we start to develop a highway system in our state. The progressives in Prohibition. Prohibition means to end alcohol sales or distribution. Tennessee becomes what we have a problem in our state with the Democrat Party. We have an ongoing battle between the two groups. We have the wets and we have the dries. The wets were those that are in favor of allowing alcohol to be made and sold and distributed in our state. The dries, however, were different. They felt like alcohol led to lots of problems in poor families, and that, for example, dads would spend more money on alcohol and not on taking care of their family. So the dries wanted to do away with or prohibit alcohol sales. Well, the Wets said no, let each town decide what they want to be. Now, an interesting story here is about Senator Carmack and Duncan Cooper. Senator Carmack was a senator in the state of Tennessee. He was a dry. He was very much against alcohol sales. Our governor at the time was Governor Patterson. He was a wet. Governor Patterson had several friends by the name of Duncan Cooper and his son Robin Cooper. These guys were wets. Senator Carmack wrote many articles in the Tennessean newspaper criticizing Governor Patterson and his friends, the Coopers, for their stance as wets. One day, Senator Carmack is out walking in the streets of Nashville, and he comes across Duncan and Robin Cooper. Immediately, the three guys get into a major argument, and gunfire is exchanged. At the end of the shootout, we find that Senator Carmack is dead, and the Coopers are arrested. Now remember, the Coopers are wets. That means they want alcohol in the state of Tennessee. The Coopers go on trial. They are found guilty, and they are sentenced to prison. However, their friend, Governor Malcolm Patterson, pardons them. A pardon means he forgives them. And so the Coopers get away with murder, basically. But we have the stance between the wets and the dries. The dries wanted to have a law in the state of Tennessee that stopped anyone from having alcohol, selling it, drinking it, or any other items or any other activities they do with alcohol. In 1909, in honor of Senator Carmack, Tennessee becomes a dry state. That means you cannot have alcohol in this state. All right. 9 years later, we had the 18th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which says no alcohol, period, in the United States. Now, progressives also want to improve education. For example, in Tennessee, the progressives are going to push for more funding from the states for schools. There were not enough schools in the various counties because they simply could not afford them. Parents could not afford to send their children to school, could not afford to teach their children. So our education in Tennessee, most of the people were illiterate. They could not read or write. And so Tennessee wants to change this. We also have a law that's created during this time that says all children must attend school. Now, teachers must be qualified to teach. This means that you have to have a college education in the state of Tennessee to be a teacher. Beforehand, it was just someone would volunteer and teach all the children of the county or of the community in one school. Also, there's a new change that says each county must have a high school. And today, each county does have a high school, and students are required to at least attend school all the way through to high school. This concludes our study on the progressives, their stance on prohibition, education, reform in the cities, and also with cars. Thank you.